All right. Well, shit. Am I going? Yeah, there we go. Welcome again. Another episode of the jankityasspodcast. This is actually the second part of a three-parter second three that me and Tom recorded. Now that his schedule's a little bit wonkier, but he's able to put in a couple hours at a time instead of just the one, so we're able to get a little bit more out of him, and I could split it up into more sections. So this time we get into some stuff about movies. I finally got to go to the theaters again, and I also hit up a little bit more articles. So yeah, go ahead and sit back and enjoy this video.
But while I do that, you mentioned something that I was going to ask you about. Mortal Kombat. So,
The movie?
how bad was it for you?
That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen.
So bad. And they were like swearing up and down like it was going to be so good. I mean...
They also swear it up and down in the movie, or at least Kano did.
Dude, well... that actor actually ended up hospitalized because he carried the whole movie on his back.
Oh yeah.
Whap whap. But like seriously, his character was great. I loved him. Like I also love that actor. I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. He's also in House of Cards. Not House of Cards. I'm sorry, House of Lies. The one about the consulting group, which that show is eerily right, by the way, in terms of how that stuff used to work. Kind of still does in some circles. But so I really liked him as an actor. I thought he was a great casting pick, and you know what, guy did a solid ass job despite the fact that like everything else about that movie was terrible. And it sounded like to me that he looked at his lines and was like, "No, I'm improvising," because it felt like somebody else completely different wrote for him versus everybody else, or they only knew how to write his character. Like, dude, like Liu Kang, joke, like total freaking joke.
That, yeah, they weren't even like the main characters at all.
No, and what they should have done is they should have just like narrowed their scope. Sure, bring in the whole Sub-Zero Scorpion thing, add some cool things that people know about. What was the main character again? I don't remember if that was Liu Kang or somebody else. Was that Luke? Who's the main guy?
The kid. That was somebody that they literally made up for the movie. He
doesn't exist in the games?
Nope.
I thought I recognized his name.
He's just, I think it kind of sounds like they were sort of meant to make a play on one of the characters from 10, Mortal Kombat 10, so like before the previous game, because in that game, they introduced a few like newer characters. So they had Cassie, who's Johnny and Sonya's kid.
I remember that.
They have what's her face, who's Jax's daughter.
Right.
And then there's like Kung Lao's little cousin. And then there's a guy
Kung Lao is who I was thinking of. Kung Lao's character was idiotic. He's just like, I'm here and I'm kind of cool and now I'm dead.
Well, he split that one bitch in half. Literally.
That's true. Yeah, that was the only true fatality in the entire movie.
Yeah, so much that he even said so.
I know that when he said that out loud, I was like, oh my god, like, gee, like,
flawless victory.
But like, what happened is they tried to throw all this crap in, and like also ask us to like totally dive into this universe that we have no background in. It's like, have you not seen the Marvel movies? Did you not see how they did this? You want to turn this into a money-making machine? You don't even have to do the whole Marvel movie segment. Just do a third of what they did. And that's still just gobs of money, like tons of merc, like all this other crap. Like they could have made this into an amazing cash machine, and they didn't, because they tried to do everything at once. Because God knows why. I really, really am just like, why did you try to explain every single character and add every single character in the book? Like, right? Like, especially
Well,
too,
here's the
because like
thing: they didn't actually try and explain anything.
that's my point, right?
So,
Just like why
yeah,
did they throw like they didn't need to add Prince Goro. Melina could have been the only bad guy aside from Sub-Zero, because then we actually would have figured out what her character was. When they added the back chick, I was like, really? You're bringing her in?
yeah, that was odd.
Like and the whole grand tournament thing should have been a reveal at the end, not like a plot from the beginning. I feel like that would have had a better effect if you had less characters. The grand tournament is something they discover, like, oh shit, the entire Earth is at jeopardy, and there are these forces meddling with the people, like, and make it less cartoony bad guy, like, oh, I am Emperor, whatever his name is, and I'm gonna kill my opponents before we get to fight, and Snidely
It's a good idea.
Whiplash. I mean, like, dude, like, I'm not a writer, but like there are times where I'm like, why the hell did that guy get a script passed? Like, seriously, either that or it could be one of those classic cases of like it was a good script and then it just got butchered and butchered and butchered and butchered in production,
It wasn't.
and
It
then
wasn't.
it was, and
Well,
that yeah.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that movie is they did exactly what they meant to do. It wasn't they didn't try to like be serious about it at all. Like literally,
Sure,
they
but
they,
you
they
could.
literally set out to make like a bullshit action movie, and I mean it worked for the Resident Evil movies. Look at the pile of cash they made.
True,
So
but
it worked for this.
The Resident Evil movies had at least basic dialogue. I mean, you can have a terrible story and still like have people enjoy it because it's got good dialogue writing. Dude, the dialogue in this movie is so bad. It was like so bad. Like it was like it seriously was like you gave a 16-year-old a script and were like, "Hey, write these characters." And like, "Oh, okay." And like just that's what killed me. It's just like the dialogue was so awful. Like I knew going into this was not going to be a great movie, but I was like, and the sad part too is the action didn't even feel like it covered it. You know, I felt like just it made me angry. I was like, this they could have done so many other things with this. And again, if you have a movie that's based in any universe that's fantastical, even if you don't want to make 300 Marvel movies, everybody wants to get at least three. If you make three movies, then you're good. That's considered a successful franchise. I mean, John Wick's getting a fourth one. That's how successful
And
it
fifth.
was. And fifth, yeah. I mean, and guess what? They are not stupid, and they're gonna do it right, and everyone loves Keanu. So like, why not?
Well, I don't know. At the same time, though, like whenever it did come out, and, I was just like scrolling through Facebook and stuff and seeing like all the the different articles, like this about the movie and that about the movie. Literally, I think I only ever saw like one person, like one comment ever saying like, yeah, this movie sucked. Everybody else was like, yeah, it was hilarious.
I think because they were
So
probably super
yeah,
high or super drunk when they were watching it. I apparently
yeah,
wasn't drunk
I was high
enough.
when I saw it. I thought it was like, okay, I understand what they were trying to do. They're definitely the thing
Yeah.
that actually kind of pissed me off was like how they did the whole like people who were selected for the tournament, like, oh, you get this magical mark on your
See, I
body.
see. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't know enough about the universe to like. I actually just accepted that. I was like, oh, okay, you're chosen by some mystical being. Like I knew there were gods. Oh, and I'm sorry, but the actor who played Raiden was terrible. That was a terrible casting choice. Like, I mean,
Oh, they didn't really let him do it. They didn't have him do anything.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the actor. Maybe it's. I just felt
You,
like
you,
I
you
just
want you wanted some white dude again?
yeah no that's. I mean, I'm blonde, blue eyed,
Yeah.
and I'm white. Of course, I want to make everything in my own image and likeness. No, it's honestly, I just felt like his character just felt super flat and felt like, and you know what? Maybe he was the Hayden Christensen here, and he could have done way better if he was better directed. So I'll give him that. I'll give him a pass in that regard. But the character sucked.
I don't know, we'll see whenever the second one comes around and
If they make a
they
second
finally
one.
oh they will. It's Netflix.
Yeah.
Or no, it was HBO, but still.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
mean,
HBO made this? No.
they put it out.
Who made Mortal? Well, they hosted
They hosted it, yeah.
for the in cinema, if you want to call it that.
They definitely put up some money for it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, but
But
yeah, I'm sure once like the next one comes around and they introduce Shao Kahn, who obviously you can't just end the franchise before that happens. I'm sure they'll have Raiden kick some ass then.
yeah, maybe actually hire somebody who can write some dialogue, and then like bring back Kano as a main character of some kind, or at least a supporting actor.
Well, I mean,
Because for me, the thing that I got kind of ticked off about was like, oh yeah, it's like the birthmark thing, sure, whatever. Divine selection, I can not understand that and be fine with it. But then it's like the whole, you gotta understand your powers, and it's like,
yeah.
it's like, can't you just be that? Why can't they just like be that way? Like, why can't everyone have like a nascent version of whatever it is, and then be told, hey, that thing that you can do that you think is weird but cool, you can do a super version of that. Like, that would have been better, right? Like for example, the main character's whole shtick was like he could take a punch, right? He was always getting his ass kicked, but they didn't make it look like above normal. You know what I mean? Or it's, and like Jack's like starting off with like bitchy arms and then all of a sudden getting chrome flex. Like, I didn't get that either. Like, why not just give him the chrome flex arms? Like, there was no
once he started believing in himself, Tom. He got his real arms.
It was just
It was kind of whatever. Especially
it was also like a way to add fake tension. It was like, oh no, Jax is here, but he has little flaky grabble claw arms. What are we gonna do?
It's good enough for grabbing little green plastic aliens.
Ew.
But no, the one of those that whenever they gave Sonya like the energy rings, that was kind of dumb, because that's supposed to be like a gun,
Yeah,
type of thing, and then Kano's his whole thing is that he like half of his skull was caved in, so he has a bionic eye, and that's why he's got a laser instead of just getting angry.
Yeah, although I mean that could have even worked out just because of his character acting like was good enough, like sure, but then it's also like, so wait, you're telling me that all of these people had to go through like a week of intensive reflection and training and stuff, and Sonya's there because she wants to be there even though she's not special, and then she finally gets the mark because she kills Kano, who they will clearly bring back when they showed the other characters going like Dusty Dust. It was like, okay, yeah, so he's not actually dead, so then is he not chosen? Like, how does that work now? Because now you have to write yourself around that issue. And she's like, oh yeah, I've had this for 5 minutes and energy. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, it's just like, yeah, I don't know, there's
That was the other thing that I didn't like, is how they made her character, because like she's supposed to be like a commanding general or officer or whatever, and
yeah, she felt like the Sideshow Bob character.
Well, she's one comment that I saw kind of explained it. She's basically a tin hat.
Tin hat? What do you mean?
Conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Who literally lived in a trailer.
Yeah, little bit of cred lost there.
But I mean, most people just watch the movie for the the blood and guts, so they got that.
But there was not even enough of that. I've seen way gorier movies than that, and they weren't even like, and their whole shtick wasn't about gore, Come on.
A little bit. A little fatality here.
Yeah, the one. On the character we knew for about 5 seconds, and so therefore when she died it was like, okay, that was cool, but also who cares?
And that they also kind of overdid it with Cabal in the same way that they overdid it with Kano too.
See, and Cabal actually looked cool too, but I also was like, so like I actually liked Cabal's character, but then again, there was like no background reference, and it was like he and Kano knew each other, and like I was like, why couldn't that have been part of the first one, right? You have two story arcs about the main kid discovering he's actually special. There's the intro sub arc of Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, which is a subtle, slow theme to the movies. It's like this build up that we like, just like kind of tease it a little bit. Come on now, and then you have this other sideshow thing of Kano and Cabal and that whole mercenary group and how that all happened. Like, there's enough material there you could write to, like you could write a really good movie, like for those two different plots, Oh my gosh, and I'm sorry, but the main character's family, their dialogue was so awful, and also like their reactions to shit, like they're like, oh my god, there's this like guy who's freezing everything, and they're like, and he walks out and he's like, they're asleep, and I'm like, no, they're not. Like, Jesus Christ, the wife's probably drinking half the Chardonnay in the house right now, or tequila, or rum, or whatever's flying around. Like, there's no way she's just like, oh, we're safe now, and it's chill, and I understand what's happening. It's like, no, like we're family. And it's like, bro, come on.
I was gonna say, it's actually one of the goriest mainstream movies I've ever seen was all the Transformers movies.
I know,
they just weren't people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I remember thinking, like, could you imagine if like those movies they were actually just like humans or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
or
oh yeah,
Jazz
I just,
gets literally ripped in half.
Yeah, or like what's his name? What was the bad guy in the second one? Like, oh yeah, I just ripped his face off and put my hand through his chest.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's robot, so it's okay.
it's all good. Or the whatchamacallit, that the fuck is it called? The Megazord thing that was like absorbing or busting up the pyramid, just explode from the inside. Like, if that was just like a giant tiger or something like that. Sharpeeta would love that.
Man, they hurt more animals than they save.
Oh yeah. Like themselves, for instance.
I know, right?
But,
Hey-o.
Alright, taking a little bit of a break. It's not a little break, actually. First things first, actually. I got some more beer for you guys. Or, well, for me, actually. And honestly, here. This is from littlebeastbrewing, and it's straight up just lager. Straight to the point. Now, I have already had the chance to try this. You will see later in either this episode or next week. I believe I switch up, and that's what. Oh shit! Just get it all over myself, apparently. And you know what? I need a beer because I've honestly been having a bit of a shitty week, compounded by that just now. So we may be looking at another little bit of a hiatus, smaller hopefully this time, after this summer, because I think my housing situation's about to blow up, but I don't know, whatever. And also I guess probably too, just because I had a couple morning shifts at my venue down in Hollywood. I had to watch some advertising that they had posted up out front, make sure nobody fucked with it, which almost did. After I got off my shift this morning today and went out to eat, and I saw somebody, some homeless dude going up Sunset, and he had like one of those big rubber sledge mallets, and he was fucking up bus stops, just going down Sunset Boulevard, and I ended up running back to my job cause I didn't have my the guy who relieved me. I didn't have his phone number or anything like that, so I had to run back and be like, hey man, keep an eye on this guy. But all turned out good for now. So also, I don't use the Citizen app to see what's going on kind of around the town. I know one of my other coworkers does, and she's always like literally every hour like, oh my god, have you seen the Citizen app? Like, I don't need that kind of shit in my life. I mean, it's LA. There's, especially now with the pandemic and everything being shut down. I mean, there's a manhunt out there like every night, just cops and helicopters, something going on. But today was my last morning shift. I'm more of a night guy personally, so tonight, finish this up, drink this. It's very lagery. It's pretty straightforward. Not bad. I recommend it. And then I'll pop an edible and pass out, and I'll be good once tomorrow comes around. So, but what I do want to do now, while I have you again, is we're going to get into some more articles. So, just a few this time. Not as many as I normally do. I didn't really, I got to save up some more for next weekend, but I got some, or not next weekend, next week. But right now, let's start off with some more, actually more movie related. First up, we got Sebastianstan will keep playing Winter Soldier as long as Marvel wants. And hopefully Marvel will keep having the Winter Soldier as long as we want. Because, yeah, he's I'm not one to fawn over people, but I mean he's perfect for this role. He's just like he's almost as good for Bucky Barnes in the Winter Soldier as Robert Downey Jr. was for Iron Man. Like they literally he looked exactly like Iron Man in the comics. And I'm pretty sure whenever they casted him, and they're probably trying to decide how the character was going to be. They're like, well, have you seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? You're basically just going to be funny and annoying. And that's Iron Man. But yeah, so yeah, he's going to stick at it. And I would assume that means that we're going to see a lot more appearances. I know there's already a Captain America 4 in the works with Anthony Mackie in there, since he's now become the full-on Falcon / Captain. And I don't have an article for it, but I believe I heard that he's getting a lot of money for it. I think it was like 10 million or something insane like that. Good money. And I would be surprised if they don't have the Winter Soldier in there in some capacity, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll get his own movie too. Who knows? Let's see what we have next. I'll do this one next since it's more movies. Confirmed. Henry Cavill says he's starring in the Highlander reboot. So, before I found this article, I didn't even know that they were making a reboot at all, but you can kind of see why. So that picture is actually of him in the Witcher series, which I actually never got around to seeing. I still got to check that out, but I would imagine he's going to look kind of the same, just with some long hair. Actually, what I really want to see is who they're going to have play what the fuck's his name? The bad guy. The Carpathian, I think. Also, who they're going to have play Sean Connery's character. The mentor. Or what have you. And I'm assuming this also is kind of solidifying the fact that he's not really going to be, probably not going to be Superman anymore. Because, Warner Bros. I've already talked at length about, what Warner Brothers bullshit with their DC movies and all that. But so I'm not going to bore you again with that. But yeah, so this is something to look forward to. I wonder if there's a date. The Witcher's Henry Cavill asks fans not to troll his relationship. That's funny. Oh, nice. So apparently it's going to be produced by the same director as John Wick. One Chad Stahelski. Stahelski. How do you pronounce that? Stahelski. Yeah. An opportunity like no other. Nice. I'll see it. I mean, I'll see anything that has that kind of hype. Like, I'll probably see at least once. Even Fast and Furious, whenever that comes out, I'll see. It's gonna be one and done, which is fine. All right, so I only got one more article for you guys. It's a bit of a wash, but kind of interesting. An ancient star casts new light on the birth of the universe. So, I mean, I've seen like plenty of the old Discovery Channel shows about the universe, and apparently this one is the oldest one that they have ever seen. I'm guessing using like visual data as opposed to a lot of the data that we have beyond the visual range is through not the light spectrum, but like radiation and stuff like that. So like I do remember seeing, it was like one of those Discovery Channel or Learning Channel shows. Well, actually, probably not Learning Channel. You don't actually learn anything there anymore, except about midgets and sister wives and so on and so forth. Has nothing to do with stars. But what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, so beyond the kind of the visual spectrum, there are some like radio waves that sort of bounce back from most likely stars like this or nebula and clouds and stuff like that. But then beyond that is kind of like a wall of background radiation, which a lot of people think is kind of like the first, like the primary evidence of a Big Bang, like a fucking basically thermonuclear explosion that created the universe. But this means that we've been able to see a little bit further. And if you're interested, it could be an interesting read. I'll leave that to you guys, honestly. Fuck. But yeah, I'm still reacclimating to getting back to working at night here, which I will be soon. I know my like I've been saying kind of on and off here, my venue job's actually been picking up quite a bit, which is nice. So I'll be getting more work there. And it sounds like we actually have an actual rave here in June. So that'll be exciting. Unless it sucks. I mean, it could be really bad. I mean, because like a lot of the people that we're going to have coming, all they've had for the last year is like EDC out in Vegas and maybe like one other one. And they had to stay in their cars. So I'm kind of worried that, being a rave, we're probably going to hit our overdose quota for the year in like one night. So hopefully we got enough medics and stuff for that. And, well, I'm also worried about, I really hope they don't try and make us do anything stupid like, hey, go out into the line and make sure everybody's social distance. Like that's not, it's not going to work. And not everybody, once people get inside, not everybody's going to even try masking up either. Like, it's just not, that isn't going to work. People are just going to do what they're going to do. And in those cases, we have to just make sure that our crew is, safe. And non-liable either. That's what I say. Which that would be the best way to handle it. Just say we're not liable for, stupid shit that people do. Really outside the venue, actually, since it's probably going to be a lineup. But I don't know. Either way, it'll be good to get back into, and if all things go well, we're probably going to start seeing some more shows popping up. I know, just looking around the webs and all that stuff, I do see a lot of burps, but a lot of bands and artists have, Jesus Christ, they don't have Jesus, though, especially stuff that I listen to, all the metal, they don't have Jesus, but they do have shows and tours and stuff. The earliest that I'm seeing for a lot of places is kind of like in the fall, which would be good because that's normally our busy season. I know last year before we shut down, I worked nearly, we had a show like nearly every single night for 3 months straight. I think I literally had like maybe a week and a half off worth of time, probably less, with like half of those nights being nights that I chose, and then the other half just we didn't have anything for whatever reason. And I'm also more ready this time too. I started wearing toe socks whenever I'm out on shift, because one of the problems that I always had is that whenever I'm wearing my boots, my toes would like rub together while I'm walking around, and I would always get all blistered up. But yeah, I started wearing toe socks whenever we went back this last fall for some outdoor stuff, and it's nice. I haven't had any major feet problems other than my ankle is still a little bit fucked up, but that's something completely different. Anyways, before I get too fucked up, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, and we're gonna get back into me and Tom's just more conversation, more movies still. So keep on watching. Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. And speaking of movies, I did go hit up the theaters and finally
Oh, nice.
knock a couple more off my list.
Which ones did you see?
Saw Kong and Zilla
Oh, how was that one?
in the day. It was it's still cheesy. It was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Oh, that's good.
I will say that. It's still like kind of a disaster movie type of thing, and they're taking
the movie,
like a big
the movie
thing.
itself was a disaster.
No.
Hey.
Like 2012 or Tsunami or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, right.
That kind of thing. But and you know, it's still like they're taking like what could be a big story and compressing it into a movie. So it suffers. That's just what's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
like they didn't have like there were a lot of things they didn't have like a lot of the same bad tropes that those movies have.
That's good.
So like they didn't have like the Roland Emmerich, you know, like, oh, we're all humans type of ending type thing. And I guess the only thing that is kind of wonky is like the whole mecha Godzilla thing. Just the fact
Did
that
they have Mecha Godzilla in it? I
yeah.
didn't see it. Oh, that's awesome. What, the humans built their own Godzilla?
some big pseudo unethical corporation.
So did Mecha Godzilla end up being a bad character then? Like a bad character?
Well, so the idea was that apparently they took one of Ghidorah's skulls and put that in as its head. And then another one they would use as like a controlling conduit, and they would have a guy inside with a helmet. And so they like find and apparently they also figure out that like Kong's homeland is actually the Hollow Earth type of thing.
Cool.
So they like kind of go in there, figure out like how the energy at the center of the Earth works, and that's how they use to power Mechazilla. But of course, that actually somewhat brings the Ghidorah segment back to life. Yeah. So
and then it just takes over.
Yep.
Yep.
And nearly kills him. But they don't, because it's a, happy movie.
It's a happy movie about everybody on Earth dying.
But
you just don't see it.
So at least they kind of figured out how to do their universal monster universe type of deal, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. Yay.
Although I don't think there were really any other ones, though. It was just Godzilla and King Kong, and that was pretty much it.
I think so.
And then the bad guys.
And then just the host of bad guys they could throw at Kong or Godzilla.
But then the other one that I went and caught same day actually was Wrath of Man.
Wrath of Man. Which one's that?
That's the Guy Ritchie with Jason Statham.
Oh yeah. How was that one?
Also, not exactly what I expected. Since because
which is saying something for a Guy Ritchie movie, actually.
Yeah, because like we've seen all those movies, like they all have like some kind of a quirky hilarity to them. You know what I mean? So this movie didn't have that at all.
Really?
But it did still have like a lot of the like the jumping around in sequence. So like you kind of like the whole movie pivots around, one event that happens in the beginning, and then like as it goes on, you learn more about what actually happens leading up to that and stuff. So it has like all of that, but yeah, it's
So he wrote this movie and directed it when he was not in a good mood, hence no humor.
I guess. But yeah, there's no humor, and Statham's basically, well, he plays an angry dude. Rightfully
So out of character for him. That's so weird.
Yeah, right. But no, it had some other recognizable people in there, and what's his face? Clint Eastwood's kid is like the bad guy.
Oh, cool. I know one of his kids is a composer. It's Kyle Eastwood. I don't remember what his other son's name is.
Me either. I just know he's at least he managed to not get stuck with the Fast and Furious franchise.
Thank God.
Like, 'cause he was in one of them. Which, of course, we got another one of those to look forward to.
I will never, ever, on purpose or intentionally, sit down to watch those movies. If I'm stuck in an airplane and that's all I got, I'll watch it while getting uproariously drunk, because it's the only way I'll be able to sit through it.
I'll see it once. It's gonna happen. It's an excuse to get out.
That's fair enough. I guess, yeah, in my situation, I can't pass up too many of those, huh?
But, I mean, also at the same time, well, let's see. I know they're finally coming out with Black Widow.
I know.
Finally.
I'm excited for that, for sure. I'm actually pumped about the new Loki series. I would totally want to watch that. There was something else I was excited. Oh, and Knives Out 2. I can't wait for Knives Out 2.
Yeah, I was surprised that they...
And the new Murder on the Nile. I really liked the Orient Express remake. It's Kenneth Branagh, Johnny Depp's the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy, he's the victim. And there's all the people on the train, like who killed Johnny Depp. And Kenneth Branagh's character is Poirot, he's trying to figure it all out. So that's based on, I don't want to say it's Agatha Christie, I feel it's somebody else. All right, I'll figure it out. Who Orient Express? I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Agatha Christie.
So basically, also kind of Knives Out, or the other way around.
Well, Knives Out's more of that. It's the same kind of thing.
Murder mystery.
Yeah. Book. Hang on. Agatha Christie. Yeah. So she wrote that because she wrote a bunch of murder mystery novels. And I think she created the character Poirot. So yeah, hers are the more like serious, like whodunit kind of thing. But Knives Out's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like that meets Guy Ritchie in a weird way, but not really him. It's
Similar.
Similar, but it's more modernized. It's more like it feels like I don't know how to put it. Because there's more of a humor element to Knives Out, but it was definitely the same levels of twists and turns and whodunits and like interesting ensemble of characters. So I don't think I'm describing it very well, but it's cool. It's like this. It's like the same but different. It's same but different. That's all I gotta say about that.
I did think one thing I wasn't expecting when I saw the first one was I thought it was gonna be like where they kind of figured out what happened at the very end.
In Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like you knew what happened kind of like second third of the movie.
Yeah,
and then after that it was.
But then there was
now.
Yeah, that, and I actually liked that because I was like, okay, we got the twist, but now it's the tension of how does it resolve, as opposed to all of that coming together at once, which I think is actually one of the differences, is because in Orient Express, the twist and the tension are resolved at the same time, because you figure everything out and then you figure out the ending almost like a minute later. I feel like maybe they might do the same thing with Orient Express. I've never read the books. But if it's the same style, sure. But yeah, Knives Out was very much like, oh yeah, like that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
And also, I did see Batista's going to be in the new one too.
Batista, Leslie Odom Jr. There's some other people.
I would assume Daniel Craig again.
Daniel Craig, yeah, he's in there again as the detective. And then also,
I'm guessing it's just like a straight up, completely new story.
Yeah, it seems like it. Nobody
Interjects
else
himself again.
Nobody else is in it, and sadly, no Anna de Armas either. But what is it? Then there's also Kate Hudson's in this movie. I can't remember the last time I saw her in a movie.
Probably the last time she ever needed to be in a movie.
I know, right? Edward Norton's in it. I know that.
Well, he's definitely a bad guy.
Yeah, I know, right?
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, speaking of Marvel, I did see another thing about the Doctor Strange movie. Apparently they're going to have something to do with Ghost Rider in there, too.
Seriously?
I have no idea how or why or if it's going to be Nicolas Cage. I would only hope so.
that would be amazing if he reprised his role. Like, for me, it's like, yeah, between that and No Way Home, it's like they're gearing up to have some like crazy scenes and like things that fans are just gonna go apeshit about.
I'm also curious to see how the Eternals, what that ends up being.
So, for me and for anybody else in the audience, I never had heard of Eternals before this.
So I'm not. Well, one.
You fail.
Yeah, you did. No. One thing that they have in the kind of in the Marvel universe is like during early human eras, there were also kind of superpowered people who, well, there was like the Eternals and there's the Deviants.
Okay.
Who the latter are more like they just kind of like
mess things up,
mutate and stuff. Yeah, they're kind of like monster people.
Okay.
But then the Eternals are they sort of become like enlightened, powerful beings and eventually leave, and they end up they fly off and live on like one of Jupiter's moons, I think, if I remember right, or something like that. And I know they also, I think Thanos was also an Eternal as well, or partially,
our group,
at least.
Well, I know he's a Titan. He's considered a Titan, so I know that. But I don't know if maybe he was like part of their group, like by affiliation or something.
I think it's like his one of his parents was an Eternal.
Okay.
And one of the other ones, I guess, was a Skrull, if I remember right. Which
okay.
I'm assuming they're going to do something completely different with the movies. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, they may not even bring him up at all because that story arc is finished. If anything, it'll be like an Easter egg of a discovery if you're paying attention.
Yeah, so I have I don't know what they're going to do. But it should be interesting. I mean, it's Marvel. They haven't fucked up yet. So
yeah, I mean, as long as Favreau's there, they're gonna be fine.
Is he though still?
I mean, you gotta know he's on those calls, right? Like
other than playing what's his face, Happy.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean he's the one who brought the franchise alive. Honestly, it's the Marvel movie, it's the Iron Man movies, and then everything he did with. I mean, I don't think I know he was involved with Captain America and then the first Avengers movie, and just the stupid amounts of success they had with that.
Joss Whedon notwithstanding.
Yeah, seriously, that was a shame to learn about him. It just turns out that he's just a total prick. Which is like a shame because I really like a lot of the stuff he's done.
Yeah, well, Buffy was a long time ago. Oh, another thing I noticed when I was at the theaters, at my well, so yeah, the first one, which was during the day, I went to my the Cinemark that's nearby, which hopefully they stay open. I don't know. It sounds like they might be having some troubles, but and then I went to the AMC over in Burbank the second time because that was later at night. But you know how like a lot of like theaters now, they have like the nicer snacks
Yeah,
or whatever.
like they'll like have like really good, like it's not just like, oh, this came out of a freezer. It's like, oh, this actually looks like more potable or eatable.
Well, like yeah, like pizzas and chicken tenders and stuff.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
noticed that the one the Cinemark by me, they have the like the big the pickles.
Oh,
that you
they're
can
doing
buy.
like, oh shit, like the deli pickles, like you get like at Jimmy John's or like actual delis or stuff like that.
No, it's like it's the individual wrapped ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like they're just giant ass pickles.
Yeah, the big ones with all the juice.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, like
what?
the plastic bag. Yeah, like it comes in a plastic sealed individual wrap container thing.
Yeah,
I've seen those. I don't know the brand, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
which is the last thing I'd want to mess with if I'm sitting in a movie theater. Just a fucking bag of pickle juice.
Dude, I mean, you don't understand. Like I'm the kind of person that'd be like, oh yeah, like I would like eat that pickle and drink the juice. Like I'm like one of my favorite disgusting things I've ever had is picklebacks.
Fair
I
enough.
love picklebacks.
Well, I mean, that's
to which one of my-
assuming you're sneaking in a airplane bottle of whatever
Try flask, son.
or that. I suppose. Actually, I remember one of the last times I went back home pre shutdown. The one of the bars, or like one of the two big bars. One thing they would do is you could get you could ask for a pickle in your beer.
That's
Which is
strange.
interesting. I'd never heard of it, but I was like, yeah, man, I'll try it out. 'Cause, like they have just like the big mugs.
Was it like any beer or specific kinds of beer, like a lager or something?
I think people were mostly doing it just for like the regular domestics.
Okay, so you
So,
could
like-
probably so mostly lagers probably then.
Yeah, just like drop a pickle in a Coors Light or whatever, and I mean it was like a pickle with a little bit of beer. And it wasn't too bad, but I'd just never heard of it before.
I'd never heard of that either.
I think it probably also kind of works because it's not like a sliced pickle. So
Yeah, it's a whole pickle.
yeah, you're it's not like the insides aren't just like leaking out.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, when you bite into it, it's mostly a pickle. It's just the skin kind of tastes like beer.
Yeah, not too bad.
Interesting.
All right, I think that about does it for today. Once again, as always, thanks for watching. And if you have not already, go down into the corner of the video here, hit like and subscribe to Multi-Murdy Media. You will get this podcast in video form. God, I still say podcast, weird. jankityasspodcast. You also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer, which I finally got some more episodes coming up. Let's see, I got one more scheduled right now, and then you'll also get Poncho's Paint Booth, which I'm about to start working on after recording this, actually. So I'll finally have some new videos up pretty soon. But in the meantime, go ahead and check out all my old ones. I need the views, honestly. So, and then also check out multimurdymedia.com. That's my website. That's got all the links to everything, as well as Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So, obviously the social sites, you get the updates for episodes whenever they come out. Whenever I get to them, anyways. And then TikTok, I cut up short segments and do some highlights of both my painting and video game videos. So, and I actually just dumped a few on today, or tonight, or actually it's going to be yesterday by the time you see this, but same thing. And I also upload everything onto Instagram Reels on Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram. And last but not least, if you prefer listening to this in audio, you can get this podcast anywhere and on every major podcast platform. So that's your iTunes, your Spotify, Pandora, and a bunch of other ones in between as well. So you got plenty of options, and honestly, you got no excuse. So keep watching, and we will see you next week.